Warning, when 2,000 people compete for $5 million on a Mr. Beast show, it can be physically exhausting, emotionally draining, and mentally challenging. I would know. I was there. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, I'm so excited because I get to tell you about my experience competing on Mr. Beast and the show, well, on the YouTube video, 2,000 compete for $5 million. Now, first, you may be wondering who's Mr. Beast in case you don't know, because I want to be considerate of those who may not know. He is one of the biggest YouTubers out there, and he does all types of game shows and challenges. And the most recent one he did is where 2,000 people compete for $5 million. Now, this then leads into his show, to not get confused, with the show that was launched on Amazon Prime of 1,000 people compete for $5 million, which is called Beast Games. Now, I was in the preliminary show to that, the one that's on his YouTube channel. First off, huge shout out to Mr. Beast and the team for bringing me on. I was so excited and grateful to be on it, and it was a great experience. It was very interesting, but overall great experience. So thank you for that. And yeah, it was very intense, to say the least. Because first off, if you don't know, well, actually first I'd recommend, as a precursor, watching that video before this one or watching it after and then watching mine again. But if you watch his, you'll get a lot more context and more of an idea of what I'm talking about. And you'll get to see visually what the games were and all this stuff. So I definitely recommend watching that. I'll put a link in the description down below there. And then also, I'd recommend watching a video that was done by a guy named Mr. Show Me the Business. That's not right. Mr. Who's the Boss. That's it. He did a behind the screens on the show, on the YouTube show, which was very interesting. It was kind of cool because I felt like that was more from my perspective, a lot of the stuff I got to see. So getting to see that, it's like, all right, you'll get to compare and like have just a better understanding of stuff that went on. So definitely recommend watching that as well. Getting on to the games, right? So first off, they shoot at night. So starting off, most people sleep at night. The reason to shoot at night is because then you have control of lighting. So then wherever you point that light, you know exactly where it's gonna be. Where during the day, there's light everywhere, so it's hard to control it. But it looks much better when you shoot at night. So that's why they do it, which makes sense and can be challenging to compete in. So because of that, most of the time, they didn't start shooting till probably like 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. And we didn't actually compete till anywhere between 12 to 3, 4 in the morning. So it was very interesting making sure and just kind of walking that mental tightrope of, all right, I have to have enough energy and be mentally there to compete, but I also need to sleep and be ready for it. But I want to make sure I'm awake to do whatever I need to do. So that was interesting to say the least. It was all part of the adventure because, to be clear, for me going into this, I went in with that Survivor, in the sense of the Survivor show type of mentality where I didn't know how much we were going to be fed. I didn't know what we were going to sleep on. I didn't know when we were competing, if it was going to be a spur of the moment. I didn't know what we were doing, but I wanted to make sure I was mentally and physically prepared for this adventure. You could say spiritually too, but nonetheless, I want to make sure I was ready for it. So I went in with that mindset, which I think helped me out a lot because, how everything went. And once again, big shout out to Mr. Beast and the team of what you guys did provide, because I can only imagine the logistical nightmare of that. I mean, the biggest show he's done, before that was like 400 people, I think, competed. It was like a Squid Game type show. But this one, it was 2,000. So that's like almost 5 times. It was a little over 400. So that's like 5 times what he's usually working with. And then the staff and just everything. So thank you for what you guys provide. I appreciate it a lot. Especially having a sleeping bag. That was very nice at night. Now, the first night to compete. So we're waiting around for a long time because you don't know when exactly it's going to be. And then eventually we go out on the stadium. It was cool to see what we're competing at. It looked like a Coliseum type of feel. The way it was, they had podiums, which come into play later. They had those. They had the $5 million in cash that you could see to maybe motivate. Also, look cool. And then they had this big red door on another side, which you knew that's where you went if you were eliminated. So it was always that reminder, it's like, it can happen to anybody because only one person's going to win. First game, he's announcing and telling us, all right, here, you guys ready? Here's the first game that you're going to do. And they lift these curtains up to reveal 5 10,000-pound balls that are on a pulley system. When I say 10,000-pound balls, once again, that's why you got to watch the video so you'll understand. Massive, huge. Obviously, I can't make my hands that big, nor would it fit in this screen. But it's on a pulley system, and there's 2,000 of us, so we had to divide ourselves up into groups of 400. And once again, I said we had to divide ourselves. So because of that, lots of commotion going on, all kinds of nonsense you can only imagine was happening. But, once everyone got in their group, and once everyone got a jersey telling you what group you were in, because unless you had a colored jersey, you weren't officially in that group yet. The colors were red, yellow, orange, green, and a magenta, pink, purple. I don't know what you want to call it, but it was along those lines. So once you got in that group, then you saw the rope, and everyone had to start getting ready to figure out their strategy. Now, mind you, 400 people pulling 10,000 pounds. You do the math, 25 pounds a person, not that much. But if your team's not working well together, it's a lot of weight. So that was a challenge thing. I ended up on yellow team, which we had our own challenges to say the least. Once it started, basically what the goal was, you had your starting point where the ball was and the top. The last team to bring their ball past the finish line was eliminated. So initially, 400 people gone. And once again, that's why I said when they revealed, I was a little just thinking crap, because I wanted to go out on my own accords. I wanted to go out because I messed up on something. Now I messed up on picking a team. Like, if I lose, it's because I couldn't do something or whatnot. But, you don't get to choose everything. So I end up on yellow team. Yellow, they started. Green, orange, and purple all take off or start moving, and all of a sudden you see their balls moving up. And it's like, oh God, because yellow and I are neck and neck, and I'm thinking, it's going to end already. I just got here. I just started. Come on. Come on, yellow, get our stuff together. Thank God we figured out as a team, because some people already had this idea. No one listened. Run away from the ball. Rather than pulling it as in tug of war, you just run. Because that's what our teams are doing. Worked fine for them. So we started running backwards. Eventually the ball comes up. We're neck and neck with yellow, and then we take the lead. Oh, man. My heart was racing, and when we crossed the line, I was just thinking, thank God. But at the same time, my heart went out for red. For you guys, man, because I thought, I almost thought I was going to be in their shoes. So it was rough seeing that. But consolation prize was Mr. Beast was giving away $2,000 for, in everyone who was eliminated. So you got something rather than nothing. Like a lot of shows, you don't get anything. But he did give that. So we made it through the first round. And people were celebrating, but I'm in my head thinking, crap, yellow, we need to get our stuff together, because if we have to do another team game, it's not looking good, because red's not here anymore. And who's next to red? Yellow. So now if anything comes, we would end up last with what just happened, at least. And ends up ending at 4 or 5 in the morning. We go to bed, get our sleeping bags, go to sleep, and I'm realizing now, or I didn't realize now, but it's like, okay, I need to sleep as much as I can, because essentially from sundown to sun up, that's when we're going to be awake. You have to be ready. They're getting logistics right and all that stuff for the game, so you got to be on your toes. So I was going to try and sleep and take naps in the day as much as I possibly could. So that way I was mentally there. And initially I wasn't there to make friends. Not that I wasn't trying to make friends, but in the sense of let me focus on me. But I ended up having a guy right next to me. His name was Santi, and super nice guy. He was by himself too. He had a blue hat on. He was the only guy wearing a blue hat, so he was an easy spot. But super nice guy. I ended up saying hi, and we started chatting, and just became really good friends. Actually, we still keep in touch to this day. If you want to check out his channel, it's Sunty Dreams. He speaks another language. I don't want to say which one it is because I'm not exactly sure, so I don't want to be rude. But I don't understand it. So unless you speak it, you won't really understand the videos. But he travels a lot, so it's cool getting to see the stuff he does. Nonetheless, back to the story. Him and I become friends, which was nice. Now I had someone else. Later in the day, I ended up meeting a gentleman named Tim, which, once again, great guy. Him and I still keep in touch. So it was kind of nice because Sunty and I, we were always sleeping next to each other. So it's kind of had like your person who'd also watch your stuff. Because I don't know all these other now 1,600 people, but at least we could trust each other, which was nice. And then Tim, we'd always meet up with later and chat and, before the game, since we were also all in yellow, which was kind of cool. Day 2, so this game there's a big grid, big square, and they bring in tables that have a briefcase on top. The briefcase is closed, so you can't see what's inside. Inside the briefcase, you then find out is either red or green. Red means you're eliminated and you go home. Green means you get to stay and move on to the next event. Only when you open it do you find out. Now, how the game works is everyone will line up around the outside of the square, and once they yell go, you run and grab a briefcase. Now, how you know if it's a red or green briefcase is for a couple seconds, they'll put up on a big screen all the briefcases, and they'll all be either red or green. So you will know which ones are red, which ones are green. Now the thing is, you have to remember which one you're gonna run for and also plan strategically, because here's the thing. Just because you're on one side of the square and you run this way, remember you have people from this side, and that side all running. So are you gonna go for the first one or are you gonna go for a farther one? If you go for a farther one, you better be fast because other people are running towards that too and they might beat you. So there was some strategy involved in it, but I was excited because at least like, okay, this is gonna be on me now. Yellow, we got last in the ball game, so we were last in this event. So it was nice, we got to watch, but at the same time, we didn't run till like 3, 4 in the morning. So it was challenging to mentally be there, also stay awake. Because like, I think I should take naps, but at the same time, what if they give some information we might need, which happened. 2 teams go, and then the only one I remember is now green. Green goes. And before they go, when they flash up on the screen, the color pattern, because every time it was a different color pattern. They flashed a pattern of red and green. Mr. Beast said, all right, yellow team, you guys need to pay attention. I was half there mentally because it's 2, 3 in the morning. I'm tired. I'm doing my best, but like, come on. We were all a little bit worried and curious. Why do we need to pay attention? Am I have to memorize this whole thing? I had an idea what it was, but crap. So green goes, and then he's like, all right, yellow, remember I told you, remember which one you're going to? We're going to use the same pattern, but we're not going to show you. And all of us started freaking out at first because we're like, we might remember, we might not, like at least give us a hint. So I first off go to green. I'm like, great, if it's the same one, I need to find someone who looks nice and trustworthy that will lead me to the right one to pick. Because they could try and tell you to go the wrong one, but that's what I was hoping to find a nice person. Luckily, I found some people, was quizzing them, because I did remember one complete row. I don't remember which one. It was all green, so I knew as long as I get that, I'll be good. They pretty much confirmed it. Wasn't positive yet, though. Yellow, then we all go out to the outside of the perimeter. Thank God, Mr. Beast then said, you know what, guys? I'm going to be nice. You're the last group. It is late. I'm going to give you 3 seconds. So he put it up there for 3 seconds, and that's all I needed. And I knew, great. I know which one I'm going for. It's green, and I have other green ones around me. So just in case someone beats me to it, because I'm not the fastest. I'm great long distance, but sprinter, not my strong suit. So I'm like, great. I have a game plan. Now, funny enough, just that kind of competition you end up having with other people is a guy that I was staying right next to. He was really worried that I might be going for his. I'm like, look, I'm not going for it. We probably went back and forth 3 times, me trying to convince him, leave me alone, I'm going for mine. And eventually I just had to tell him that, not to be rude, but it's like, essentially shut up. Like, he could blow, or he didn't blow an air horn, he said go. He could say that at any time, and we have to go. I don't want to get caught talking to you. So we shook on it. He went for his, I went for mine, which worked out. But there was a little hiccup. When Mr. Beast was explaining the rules again, he said, when I say go, and he said that, people went. So he said go, but he didn't say go. Half the people went. I thought, oh crap, did they just if I go, am I getting eliminated? What's happening? He's like, oh, well, I guess, you can go. So then we ran. Thank God I got mine. No one on my side, or at least that was around me, went when he said the first one in the explanation. So thank God I got mine, hand placed on it, because as long as your hand was on it, you're good. If two people touch it at the same time, it'd be a tie, so they have to go to the cameras, review, which is also why it took so long in between each run, set it up for the next round, because there's ties and all these types of things are obviously gonna happen. Hands on it, I'm thinking, thank God, I know it's green, I'm good. I'm looking around, who has theirs? The guy that we were chatting, he didn't want me taking his, he got his, which obviously was the first one. And then I saw Sunti. He was like 2 rows over from me, which is really cool, because we're each looking around, do we know anyone? And then we see each other like, oh, hey, like, we got it. Like, we were so excited because we each knew, you could tell he knew his was green too. We got it, great. Threw up the shaka, and I'm like, I'm good. And, because I didn't know if cameras were gonna be on me, and there was one. Or at least it kind of got me. I had to zoom in a lot for you to see it. But it was green. Thank God. A lot of people were really celebrating and getting excited, which once again, I understand celebrating, but for me, 5 million wasn't my end goal. If I get at least 1 million, because that would change, that'd be life-changing for me. This weight that's on my shoulders would be lifted. Going from what I've been feeling like for the past 5 years of surviving to now living, that would be life-changing. 1 million. That, even if it's taxed, like, that's great for me. So even that 5 million, I'm like, I don't need that. If I can get 1 million somehow winning, that'd be it. So nonetheless, that was my goal. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna celebrate too much. I'm just gonna get to bed because it's gonna be a long night. This is now second day, second night. I don't know how you want to look at it. Third day, I don't know. So go to bed. Tim got his because we weren't by each other. He was in another corner, but he got his, so that was exciting. And so we all go to bed. And then interesting is the next day we woke up, they made an announcement on like the speakers that they had. And it was that everyone roll up your sleeping bags. They never said that before. Usually we could leave them where they were, and that was kind of like our spot. It was like, oh, so this is the last night, so we're going to do some events tonight. A little nerve-wracking, but exciting too, because like, all right, I'm making it. Let's keep going. Next event. This event is now a running one once again, which, like I said, I'm not the best sprinter, but I feel like I'm faster than others. And as that old saying goes, as long as you're faster than the slowest person, that's all you have to do. So this event, there was a line, and they were going to put out flags. Essentially like a capture flag style game where these flags were on a PVC style pipe. At the top, it said 1, 2. It had numbers all the way up to 1,100. I don't know how many people were left. It was probably like 13 to 1,400 maybe. I don't know. What we did know is that there's only 1,100 flags. So anyone who doesn't get one is eliminated. So how it works is they bring out flags, whether it's, groups of 10, they might bring out 50 at a time. They do all different types of ways of bringing out flags, which, could be fun. And how it is when you're on that line, they now, rather than saying go, which they learned from, is blowing the air horn. So it is unmistakable, can't be, misconstrued. Blow the air horn. As soon as you run past that line, you're in play. If you go past that line and someone else takes a flag you're going for, if you don't get one, you're out. You can't go back across that line. If your foot goes over, you're in play. So that was a little nerve-wracking. It's like, oh, let's not stutter step or, misstep or even trip. Like, if you do, you're eliminated if you don't get a flag. I was on the left side, and people there were very strategic. They were doing it where everyone was calling out a number. So if you called your number, you were going for that one. And most of the people would let you run for that. So it was like, hey, if we call out our numbers and we do this strategically, at least on our side, because it was almost split half and half, kind of. But it's like, we'll all at least get one in this little group that was there. It was like probably a couple hundred people. That was the thinking. And it was going smooth. Now you may ask, why didn't you run earlier then? Well, I was nervous. I kind of knew them, but not really. I'd seen them. They seemed trustworthy, but at the same time, this is a lot of money up for grabs. And I don't, I know some people are much faster than me. Others, I'm like, I don't know. So I want to make sure I ran against someone who I was confident against, and also just the nerves, you know? I ended up not running till 1,000. Talk about nerve. Because that game plan of them calling numbers kind of started to fall apart around 900 because they realized there's more people here than there are flags left. So 1,000 comes, and Sunty had already got one of his. Tim hadn't gone yet. And so we're talking, how are we going to do this? And I'm like, all right, if they bring out a lot this time, because they brought out 10 or something, I didn't want to run. I'm like, I want more chances where if I miss a flag, I can grab another one. They brought out 50, and I saw the number 1025. I don't know if I'll ever forget that number. Like, that's the one I'm going for. I'm calling out, I got 25. Other people are calling out, and I didn't care because I'm like, I have to run. And it was about mid-range. It wasn't the farthest one, and it wasn't the closest, but I'm like, I have time where if I pass another one, I could grab it, or if someone else grabs it, I could hopefully grab another one. I'm ready, I'm focused. I was just tunneled vision. I didn't see anything else. They blew the air horn, I just booked it. Not necessarily saying I'm like that fast, because if you watch the video, I'm definitely not the first one out. There are people way faster. Thank God I wasn't by them. Luckily, I grabbed it though. I was faster than anyone who I was running against. Thank God. Grabbed it, and a lot of people were grabbing it and they'd stand there. And then other people would grab it or they'd fall over, or, collisions. So I'm like, I'm gonna grab it and just keep running. That way there's no contest of who grabbed it, who didn't, blah, blah, blah. Get it, go. Get it, got it, good. Grabbed it. That weight came off the shoulders, like, thank God. Thank God. So make it over, and I didn't see Tim. I was looking for him. He ends up making it the next round. So we all three of us and a couple other guys that we were friends with, all got together. We celebrated, which was great. Now the final one. And it's like, okay, it's still a little bit early at night. It's only maybe 1 o'clock. We still have another event because we're not sleeping here tonight. So we have to wait, and I don't know if it was better to see them set up or to not see them set up, because how I said earlier, there was platforms everywhere. Now they bring in a crane and they're moving the platforms in a certain grouping. And there's 11 platforms. And how I said earlier, there's 1,100 flags. So 11 platforms, 100 people platform, which for me, I was thinking, crap, we're doing a team thing again. Like, come on. We just did independent things, working, stressing all this stuff, and now it has to go back to a team decision. And what the team decision was, it's a game they've done before, what's called like platform, basically where so many people are in it, and anyone who goes outside of it, they eliminate everyone inside. So one person leaves, all 99 are eliminated, and that one person. So I was thinking, crap. They end up calling us out now. Everything's set up. They're ready. We go out on the field, and in our groups, I wasn't feeling confident about mine at all. I should have went with my instincts to go in any other group. But I wanted to stick with Sunty and Tim. Like, we were all going to do it together. And one of them said, hey, if we go out together, at least we're together. And it's like, well, I like that. Get on the platform, and my nerves were shot. And how it went is, first he says, all right, does anyone want to leave, get off? And we all knew, and if you've seen in Mr. Beast videos, he always offers incentive, whether it's cash or prizes. So everyone knew that was happening. No one got off. The manager's like, all right, no one's leaving. Let's incentivize you, essentially. Brings out cash. 3 things. One was small, one was medium, and one was big. The big one, as soon as I saw, I'm like, that's $1 million. Shoot. Because, like I said earlier, $1 million, that's, if I get that, I'm good. But that would be good if I could eliminate myself. Not now eliminating 99 other people. I'm like, ooh, I don't want to screw over 99 people to get my goal. I don't know about that. But that was a debate in my head. So they bring them out and they reveal them. They're like, all right, first one. Oh, and this action is because it had a sheet on it. So that's what I'm doing. Revealed it, taking the sheet off. First one's $5,000. Obviously, people are even saying boo, because if you're smart, you're not going to go for the lowest one. You're not going to go for the middle one. If you're smart, you're going for the big one. Obviously, more people may go for that, but it's like, let's be smart about it, especially if it's taxed, right? First one's $5,000, second one's $50,000, last one's $1 million. And as soon as the $1 million one revealed, you knew people were walking off their platform. Just everyone there got loud. Someone's leaving for that. They started, and there was like a 10-minute timer or something. I don't know. Started for the $5,000. No one came. No one got off the platform. Obviously, because once again, if you're smart, you're going for the big one. Next one goes 50,000. And he says, and by the way, for me, I'm sitting there, sitting on the edge, hands on my knees, just looking down because I can't take the tension. It is driving me nuts, thinking, I think this is the group someone's going to step off. Like, I didn't feel good. I trusted the 2 guys I knew, but what about the 97 other? So he says on the microphone, he's like, all right, no one took the 5,000, $50,000. When I start the timer, 50,000, and you heard a buzzer. And I as soon as I heard the buzzer, God, heart was racing, jumped up because I looked up, not off the platform. I jumped up, once again, why would you jump off for 50? Jumped up, ran over to see who, to the edge to see, all right, who went for it. And there's a girl staying over there. I'm looking at all the other platforms. People are jumping, making noise. Some are like in shock. And I'm thinking like, I feel like this is ours. And I started looking around, like opening up the vision almost, like seeing what's happening. It was ours. People were devastated. A lot of them were very angry. But there was devastation on ours. All the other platforms were in shock, but also excited. And also then I noticed there was this yellow, white light around all of them, neon light, that showed they won, and ours had a red light. I lost it. I mean, I was just a mess. I was emotionally violated, you could say. I tried to hold my tears back. I couldn't. I just started breaking down. It was rough because to me, that was, even not getting eliminated, even if we got into the show, is that chance of freedom, this weighting lift off my shoulders. Once again, living rather than just being surviving out here. Like everything I've been going through in LA for the past 5 years with not getting back pay, not getting the unemployment for COVID, like what I'm dealing with the rent and trying to, nonetheless, everything I've been going through, that money would have done so much. And now that chance was gone. So I started breaking down. Thank God for Tim and Santi. They really helped me through it. They were walking with me over. Cameras kept trying to come by and they were like blocking me, which was nice of them. But then when we got to the end, there's a guy doing interviews, some people, and one of them was a guy named Laserbeam. I think he's Australian. His head's shaved on the sides of his head. And Tim talked to him, and Tim was bringing me over, like talk to him. Like, all right. They probably didn't show it because I couldn't even get my words out. Probably couldn't even understand me. But I was a mess. So thanks for interviewing me, Laserbeam. Shout out. If you could help me out anyway, that'd be great. Karma is a thing. The girl who jumped off before the timer started, so she didn't get anything. That's what you get. She jumped off before he started the timer, and he even told her, like, no, you don't get the prize money. You jump before I even started. Shot yourself in the foot there. It was an emotional roller coaster. A lot of fun. It was interesting overall. Definitely would love to be considered to do again. Please, thank you Beast team and Mr. Beast for choosing me to do it. Love to be considered again. I love the video you did where it's how long can you survive in a grocery store. Love to do something like that. Please sign me up. I would love to do that one. Or compete in this again, whatever. Please, give me an option. Give me that chance again. And everyone, thank you for watching. I hope you guys got a little better understanding of what it's like to compete, because watching on TV and actually doing it is two completely different things. It definitely takes it out of you. I would love to do again. And, just for the future, remember, if you compete on a show or, on a Beast game, it can be emotionally draining and it will get you. And you might even be crying at the end. So just remember, you've been warned.